Over to you, Chris Torres.
Thank you very much again. Yes, as it was just mentioned there, this is the fourth of four workshops, webinars, whatever you wish to call them, that I'm presenting to you guys. Hope you have found them useful up until now. And this one, as it was stated, is going to be about Facebook and Facebook ads, and my take on what you should be doing in terms of Facebook advertising. And the approach you should be taking for Facebook advertising. Now, if you are watching me in a video, apologies, I'm looking at two separate screens, so if I move away, I'm not being rude, I'm just looking at my other screen as I'm presenting to you guys. So, Facebook, for me, is hands down one of the best marketing tools you can use in terms of ads. It's certainly the cheapest platform, most targeted platform that you can use. But what tends to happen is when people run ads, whether you're an accommodation, you're a tour operator or whatever, you tend to run ads to promote a product or promote something, which can work to a certain extent. But no one really goes on to Facebook to buy anything. No, it's there as a social platform. It's there to engage with friends, to see funny stories, to see news stories, that type of thing. So what you need to do is take your potential customers along a little journey. Very much like other forms of marketing, people need to know you exist first, so there's the awareness stage. Then you need to build up the trust. No one's going to buy from you unless they don't trust trust your business, trust what you do. So you've got the trust phase that you need to go through, and then and only then do you go through these actual growth phase, as I call it, which is when people start to hand over their credit cards to you and get buy your products, that type of thing. So you have to go through this little journey to get to know you, especially on Facebook. But that's not to say you can run some ads, you'll get some bookings, you'll get some people buy your products. That will happen. But with the methods that I'm going to show you, you'll get more of a steady stream. It's more of a slightly more long tail, but it's more effective in my opinion. And it can actually work very, very quickly as well once you've got things set up. And what you actually tend to find, as I'll show you, is although you have the awareness, the trust, and the growth phase, the trust phase is where a lot of the bookings are actually made. Because people have got to know you, have got to see content, they like what they've seen, and then it's usually between that stage and the growth stage is where people start buying from you. So let me just go through some of the aspects of this, and I'm going to show you some live examples and things like that as well. So what will we cover in this workshop? Understanding that purchase journey, and how and why people purchase on things like Facebook. I'm going to give you an overview of the actual funnel. I hate to use the word funnel because it has so many negative connotations, and if I could think of a better words, I would, but ultimately it's a funnel to take your potential customer down and weed out the time wasters, that type of thing, and get to the people who really are interested in what you do. Going to offer you some quick tips throughout this in terms of running Facebook ads, things that you should really take note of when you're running Facebook ads, and we'll come on to that in a second. I'll show you some live examples of the ads that we've run for a couple of businesses that we've helped and the results from that. One pre-COVID and one during all the craziness that's going on at the moment, so you can see the difference between the both. And I'll show you some targeting examples as well. That will be including how you can use Facebook to find and source your ideal audience. I'm going to show you a live demo of part of that. In terms of one of Facebook's tools. Not many people know that it exists. So if you do, great. It's something you should be using more often. If you don't know this tool that I'm going to show you, then it may open a few eyes. So hopefully that will be interesting to you guys. So there's a couple of requirements before running any Facebook advertising, that type of thing that you need. Obviously, you need a Facebook business page. That's one thing you have to have. You also have to have what's called a Facebook Business Manager account. So you can just set that up once you have a page set up under your own personal Facebook. You can then set up an ad manager account under the business. You can also set up an ad manager account under your personal Facebook page, but make sure it's created under your business page, because sometimes you may want to give access to that to agencies, that type of thing. So always make sure that you create one under the business page itself. And then you also need to have what's called a Facebook pixel installed. For those who do not know what a Facebook pixel is, it's basically the Facebook's own version of Google Analytics. So it allows you to track where customers have been, which pages they've seen, etc., etc. Although there is a caveat on that, which I'll come on to, which a lot of browsers are going to stop a bit of tracking in terms of how customers land on a website, how they view a website, etc. And it's going to throw up a few challenges in terms of marketing and in terms of Google or Facebook advertising or anything like that in the future. There is ways around it at the moment, but ultimately it's up to the consumer. So that what you're probably going to find is you'll get less. You'll see your website visits drop. You'll see your Facebook ads or Facebook advertising or any other form of advertising being less effective, and that's not because, or may not be because the ads are not effective. It's just because browsers are now stopping the tracking of a lot of these different types of things. So if you're on a Mac and you use a Safari browser, there's now a little thing at the top to say this, any website, all tracking has been blocked. Now the user has to then go in and allow that. It's basically allowing cookies, but it's now built into the browser rather than being per website. So we're on the mercy now of consumers being able to click that button to say, yeah, I want to be tracked for everything. If not, then we won't be able to get that information, and that will be affecting everyone. So it's going to affect the industry in a big way. And Chrome, who's built by Google, is actually following suit. They're going to go down that way as well. So it's going to raise some interesting questions in terms of marketing going forward. Now, if you don't know how to set any of these up, or you don't know what they are, at the end of this workshop, I'll give you a link. You can download a guide in terms of how to set these sort of things up. So don't worry about that. So the Facebook pixel, just to give you an overview of what it can do, it allows you to track website visits. So you can basically set this up to do a multitude of different things. So you can set it up so anyone who visits your website, you can set it up to anyone who visits specific pages on the website, which this funnel uses. But there's loads and loads of different things that you could track within Facebook. So if you have this on your website, you can then pulls in all that information into Facebook, barring the issues I mentioned with the browsers, to allow you to create different audiences and allow you to see the types of audiences that are visiting your website, that are viewing your ads, etc., etc. So it's a very powerful tool, and every website really should have this installed if you're using Facebook and Facebook ads. It opens up, even if you're not running ads, it opens up a lot more in terms of knowing the types of people who are coming to your website, that type of thing, who maybe came from Facebook or some other methods as well. It's just another way of tracking. So it's always good to have this on your website. But you can track anyone who visits your website. You can do that over 180-day periods to send them different ads. If you had a particular campaign that you wanted to focus on those who landed on a particular page within a 30-day period, you can target them only as well. So there's so many different things that you can do within that. And some of the tracking in Facebook is incredible. It really is. But other things you can do is you can set up custom conversions. So you can basically say, if someone visits this particular page, as I said, or if someone has filled in a form, track this. So you can then market to people who only filled out a particular form or landed on a particular thank you page. You can even set up rules to say, you want it to be this URL, but if it doesn't match this particular criteria, don't show ads to them. So to give you an example, you could have ads running. You could have someone to say sign up to get a tailor-made product or sign up to a newsletter. If anyone signs up they'll get served a different ad to those who did not sign up to that form. So it allows you to do different types of personalized messaging, that type of thing as well. So it's a very powerful tool to use. The other thing is it also helps you build custom audiences. So for those who do not know what a custom audience is, again, you could set up an audience for anyone who has landed on the website and run ads purely to them. But a custom audience allows you to also, and it's one of the big reasons why I say you need to collect email addresses and names and things like that from all your customers, from any source that you possibly can. Never buy a list, as I've mentioned before in one of the previous videos. Never buy a list of people. Make sure you're getting those email addresses through proper means, and this funnel will help show you how you can do that as well. But once you've collected all that information, especially your past customers, you can upload that information into Facebook. Then you can target those past customers specifically on Facebook. So that's one aspect you can do with that. So you can target them with a particular promotion. You can also ask Facebook to build what's called a lookalike audience from those customers. So you can ask Facebook to say, look, here are my past customers. You can even have the value of what those customers spent on the spreadsheet as well that you upload. And then Facebook will find customers who are similar to them, who may look to spend a similar type amount of money, looking at household incomes, that type of thing, and then target your ads to them specifically to try and build up new audiences. So it's a very, very powerful tool. And you need the Facebook pixel for that as well. So Facebook pixel combined with custom audiences, that type of thing can be very, very powerful. But two quick tips I want to give about creating ads. And the first one is being how you should structure the ads. With any form of marketing, it should always have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Very much like telling a story. Now, what I tend to see, and if you're ever doing marketing materials and printed methods of doing marketing materials, what companies tend to do is they'll put the logo at the top really big, then some of the messaging and a small call to action. Whereas it should be the opposite. Your logo is actually one of the smallest things that should be on there. The thing at the top should be your main message. What is it that you are offering? And that's basically what we're saying here. It's the same with Facebook ads. The beginning should be, here is what I have, and this is what I will do for you. The middle part of the content is, here's what I've got, giving a little bit more of an explanation, and then here's what to do next. Always give them that end call to action. This is what I want you to do if you want to continue this journey with our business. So to give you an idea, this was an ad we ran for a company called Overland Ireland. So at the beginning, here is what I've got. This is a visit Skellig Michael, the Ultimate Ireland Tour. Skellig Michael, for those who don't know, and it'll become more apparent when I show you some more of this, is a little island off Ireland, not easy to say that, which is where the recent Star Wars films were filmed, where Luke Skywalker was hiding out. So they are taking people out to there. It's an old monastery. It's quite exclusive to get there. So it's taking people out to there. So it's like, visit this island, here's what you will discover, and then call to action is learn more. And that takes them off to a page to learn more about what that experience would be. So there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. The other quick tip I want to talk about is Facebook's learning phase. Now, this is quite important because I've spoken to so many businesses and seen so many businesses who run some Facebook ads and maybe run them for a couple of days, 3 days, maybe a week at most. And they feel, I'm not getting anything from this, it's not working. They close the ads, and then they probably never run Facebook ads again because they think, no, Facebook is terrible, it doesn't actually do, I've not generated any leads or sales and things like that as well. But Facebook actually goes through a learning phase, and it actually tells you that on the ads. When you click through, it will tell you it's actively learning. And what actually happens is, as I mentioned before, is a company will run ads for a few days and then they'll stop. But what actually happens is the cost per click after a few days starts to go down, because this is when Facebook starts to learn your audience, make sure it's hitting the right people. And this process can take anything between 7 to 14 days. So if you leave your ads running for at least 14 days, you should always run your ads initially with a small budget, so you're not blowing all your budget on one ad. Run it with a small budget to test first, but run that for at least 14 days. And then Facebook will start to learn. It will start to know if your audience is interacting well. It will then start to find a different audience if that audience is not acting or reacting well to your ads, etc. Well, Facebook is really good at telling you your ads are performing above average, they're not performing at all, that type of thing. So it's just looking at the information and the data that Facebook is giving you and then altering your ads after a certain amount of period. But I certainly wouldn't do that for at least 14 days. But like I say, it's usually that period there, sort of 3 to 4 days in, is when people stop their ads. But that's not giving Facebook enough time to actually do the learning and making sure that they're going to be as effective as they possibly can be. Because ultimately, Facebook, yes, Facebook is there to take people's money. It's the reason why it's just normal social posts don't get the same amount of engagement as they would do 5 years ago. As they want people to pay to boost posts. That's their business model. But what they also don't want to do is people to be disheartened by running Facebook ads. No, they want people to run more and more ads, and they want them to be effective, so they do run more ads. So just give it that time to learn. If after a 14-day period it's still not effective, then it's probably something to do with the targeting. It's probably just something to do with the ad copy, the images, etc. And it's just testing different things out until you get the right combination. So the customer journey, as I mentioned, is vitally important on Facebook. Like I say, no one goes onto Facebook to buy a product. So you shouldn't really go down that route of sell, sell, sell. It's like, it's always about raising awareness first. And I know, especially now, businesses just want to generate revenue, but you're not going to generate revenue without brand awareness. You have to have brand awareness. You have to raise that first. Then you have to build up the trust, and then you will get the sales. So the customer journey is pretty much similar for any type of tourism business. So there's always the consideration, dreaming stage. Sorry, there's awareness stage, which is the person dreaming about what they would like to do. Then there's a consideration stage. Well, who are they going to select to achieve what it is they want to achieve? And that's still part of the dreaming phase. Just with COVID, the dreaming phase is a lot longer at the moment, because a lot of people aren't able to do anything because of lockdowns, restrictions. We now know that only one household can visit an accommodation, which accommodation is still huge at the moment. It's still one of the best selling products out there. People are just wanting to get away and get a break. And until more restrictions come in, that's what people are going to do. So there is still things out there. Just can't visit there with friends and family at the moment as well. Then there's the intent stage, more planning. They're now ready to buy. So what are they going to buy? Then they go through the purchasing stage and actually book. And then from there, that's actually experiencing what it is they have purchased. They're sharing their thoughts and their dreams and their, what they liked about that product, what they liked about, whether you're a tour or accommodation, if they loved it or not, start sharing that out between other social media platforms. And then they go through the whole cycle again. So it's a never ending cycle. They'll then, for the next time, they'll hopefully come back to you. They'll see what they want to do and go there from there. So it's having to take people along that journey. So there's always awareness first, then consideration, which is part of the trust part of it, and then start to go through the purchase journey. So this is what you've got to think about when you run your Facebook ads, is each one of those, especially those first 3 steps, is vitally important. It's the awareness, consideration, stroke trust, and then the sort of intent and purchasing side of it. So let me now go through a sort of overview of the funnel in terms of the different aspects of what you need to really do in terms of, and this is what we found to be effective. I'm not saying it's going to be the same for every single business. No, you have to, depends on your ad copy, depends on the images, the videos and things like that you use, and the messaging that you're putting across. But this is what we've found to be the most effective way of running Facebook ads. So let's give a brief overview of the actual funnel itself. So the first stage is the brand awareness. So this would be a brand awareness ad. So this is to let your target audience know that you exist. Now, the brand awareness ad is not just an ad leading off to your homepage or a product page. This would be a specific landing page that you would create on your website that is talking about an experience. So this is saying, this is what you would experience. This is what we can do for you. And then you give them a call to action at the end to either fill out a form, book, or whatever. So you still have that on there, but this is more about, it's more of a glorified blog, but more of a travel piece, more about an inspirational piece to get people onto that specific page. And there's a reason for that, because we get into more targeting and more specific targeting for people who actually landed on that page. So the first side of it is all about brand awareness. Then you offer something of free value. So this is in between, this is to help build the trust and awareness within the business as well. So offer something of value to your customers, whether that's a downloadable PDF to get them to sign up, or an email series, or whatever that would be. Probably not a discount code. Again, I'm not a fan of discounting, but giving them something to say. It could be a guide about Morris B-side. It could be anything around your area, the different activities, not necessarily about your business, but what they can see and what's in and around your business and in and around your location. Something that will give them value. And we'll show you an example of that as well. Then there's to start the trust ads. So this is more building in the trust about your product, the trust about your business, and why they should buy with you. So this could be videos, this could be text, highlighting reviews, that type of thing. And again, we'll come on to a little bit of this in more detail a little shortly. And then, and only then, do you start asking for the sale. Now, that's not to mean that no one will buy from you during any of the other 3 steps. But the last step, once you've taken them down that funnel, is then when you may start to say, okay, this is what I have. Do you want to buy? And then it's a yes or no answer by that point. Or they might have a little think again and then come back later. So that is the point where you really start asking for the sale, but it's only after they've been through the other stages of the funnel. So these are just example ads for a made-up company that I created. I actually did this for my book. So this is based on a food tour company called Food Drink Tour that we came up with. So this is all about raising the awareness. So this is you're starting off with by saying food and drink tours in Glasgow, Scotland, telling exactly what it is you're going to offer them. that showcases our amazing local food and local tipple. Visit amazing eateries, sample their top dishes while enjoying an immersive experience packed with history and culture. Get a true taste of Glasgow. Then at the end, it's learn more. So that will take them off to a landing page, which will tell them more about Glasgow, tell them more about the food, the different places they can visit, with a little soft selling links off to maybe product pages throughout that content. And then a call to action at the end to sign up to receive something or possibly a book as well. But it's more of an inspirational piece. So that would lead them off to there. And then when you're running this ad, again, the purpose of this is to drive traffic to your website and to a specific page on your website to raise the brand awareness. For this ad, you would target, say, for example, Glasgow, because we're in this. People tend to buy products like this while they're in destination. So for this, we say we target Glasgow within a 50-mile radius, people who love food, people who love drink, and who are foodies, etc. So you would look; those are all criteria that you can target on Facebook. Again, you can maybe target Edinburgh to bring people over to Glasgow and vice versa. So you can do things like that as well. But for this example, we've just selected Glasgow. And you can run that for as little as £5 per day. It can even be £2 or £3 per day if you really want to, just to test things out. But anything between £5 and £10 a day. And this is going to be the most expensive ad you would run, because you're trying to get as much of that target demographic onto that page, to visit your website, to see what it is you offer, to get them onto that page. And that's what, this would probably be the most expensive ad you would run within that. Then we'd run the free value ad. So in this instance, because it's a food tour company, we're going to offer a cookbook. So at the end of that landing page, there'd be sign up to receive our Glasgow cookbook, local recipes from 12 of Glasgow's top chefs that you can easily make at home. And what they've done is they have added a little 50% discount codes within the PDF, so they can get the codes and use that. Just to, again, to show an example, although I'm not a fan of discounting, this could be used for something like that as well. But what they've done, again, this is made up, but what they've done is they've selected some of the restaurants, some of the partners that they have, the establishments that they use to submit recipes for the cookbook. So it's highlighting them, it's promoting them as well. So it's helping out your partners while giving a cookbook to give to your potential customers to download. Your branding is going to be on there, and the branding of the partners as well, to help establish what's in the area. And again, something for you to collect email addresses, names, etc., which you can then use in email marketing and also for uploading into Facebook. So the purpose of this is to offer something of value in exchange for their email address. Long gone are the days where people just sign up to an email newsletter. You have to give them something of value. You're giving them something to give you the permission to then send them something and use for future marketing. So ultimately you're buying their permission to a certain extent, which is very, very important. Again, this targets people in this ad, which the ad would be run to say, hey, download this cookbook, visit, and this would only target the people who landed on that page. So it's been super targeted to the people you initially targeted within the first ad, and only targeting those people who landed on that page. And you can go a step further. You can make it so that it's landing using the Facebook pixel, that it's only targeting people who landed on that page and did not sign up for the email newsletter to get this PDF, which would be on that landing page. So again, with the Facebook pixel, and to make this work properly, you really need to have a form that goes off to a particular thank you page. So if someone was signing up to receive the cookbook, it would take them to a thank you page to say, thanks for downloading the cookbook, here's the link. Then with the Facebook pixel, you can then say anyone who lands on that thank you page, because you know they've downloaded the PDF, do not target them with this ad. So it means you're not doubly targeting the same people with the same thing, and you're not wasting budget. So you can do things like that with using a Facebook pixel. And again, you could run that for £2 to £5 per day, just to get people on there, just to get the email list built up. A couple of pounds a day, not a huge budget, and it's something you can have ticking in the background while you've got your other ads running, getting people onto that landing page. And then from that, you can then obviously create, you can have an initial email, which welcomes them, it sends them the cookbook, the link to that. But then you can set up an automated email series in the back of that, maybe 6 emails initially, with offering other recipes or offering advice around your destination. Again, very travel guide focused, not selling to them whatsoever. It's all about offering advice at this stage and raising your awareness and showing why you are an authority within your space. And it's vitally important. Again, as I mentioned in my last webinar about websites, that is not going to entice anyone, which is a typical email sign up form. Subscribe now, enter your email address, get in touch. Why would I want to do that? Well, you have to offer, please don't do that. Well, why? You have to offer something of value. And as I mentioned, grab your copy of an exclusive cookbook, which includes the top 12 recipes as voted by our customers. So what they've actually done, and it could be something you can look at, you can say, okay, ask your customers, what are your favorite establishments in and around our area, or whatever it is you want to try and promote and use as a download. Get your customers to vote on that, and then that will be added into whatever PDF you're doing as well. Again, it helps increase engagement within Facebook, it helps increase engagement in social media, and it allows you to then collate some information and what your actual customers want in terms of something that you do. So you can do, it ties in with a whole load of different things as well. You can run competitions around that, whatever you want to do. So the free value add, as I said, we send out an initial email. And for me, this is quite an important step. So send out an initial email and maybe an email automated series. And what we have found is highly graphical emails, which has lots of images, promotions, lots of different products, don't tend to work very well. There's a time and place for that. But for something like this, plain text email coming from MailChimp, coming from whatever software you use, that looks like a plain text email, looks like it's came from a business owner's inbox or a tour guide's inbox or an accommodation owner's inbox. It looks like it came from them personally, gets better uptake, it gets better engagement, gets more click-through rates than a highly graphical email. Something that looks more personal. So you can see here, we've got a little email, there's a link in there to download the guide, and then they'll start getting once a week or every couple of weeks, they'll get another email with more travel information, more inspirational pieces, that type of thing. And within that text, you can have a little soft link to go off to a product, but you're not saying, it's not promotional heavy, not at all. It's just all about inspiration. It's all about awareness. It's all about what it is that you can offer them if they visit your destination. Very, very important. And again, that's all part of that side of it. So the PDF between that is, again, the offers to value in exchange for their email address, target those visitors on your website, and the £2 a day. So that's all part of the ad, and emails run from that as well. Then there's a trust ad, and this is where I like to start using things like video. Well, video ads I would use at the start as well if possible, but this is where you maybe have a 60-second video all about highlighting what it is that person's going to experience in using your product, whether it's an accommodation, whether it's a tour, etc., or some sort of attraction. So with this one, you can see, join our expert Maggie, mentioning it by name. It's again making it more personal. She takes you on a food heaven journey through the 5 of Glasgow's top West End eateries as voted by our customers. So this is going to be a quick video saying, we're going to visit here, this is what you're going to have, this is what you're going to experience. You'll talk to the chefs, you do this and that, just highlighting that experience a little bit more. And because the nature of this video, because you've already taken them down that journey, anything from 1 minute to 2 minute video would be fine here. If it was for the initial ads, I would say 60 seconds at the most. But now, because we're engaging more with your customers, we're taking them down that journey, a 2 minute video would be fine here as well, as long as it's engaging. So so it's all about experience, what they will offer. And during this time as well, because it's a trust ad, if you had the opportunity to, is have some of that footage of you actually speaking to customers that are on tour with you to get their testimonial on screen, which could be used as part of this as well. If you don't have that, so you could be showing some throughout the video, showing some TripAdvisor reviews or whatever reviews you have on screen to say 5 stars, a little testimonial here. Again, it's all about building trust. So what you offer and building trust and why you are good at what you do. So this is a trust ad. This is to continue value to the customer and build trust in your brand, anything between a 1 to 2 minute video from your guide, from the owner, whoever that would be. And again, this is targeting visitors who landed on that page, but also downloaded the guide. So you can do it just to people who landed on the page, or you can do it to people who landed on the guide if you really want it to be more super targeted. But it's just another way to try and build up trust between those who maybe landed on the website, but are just not too sure yet. And then, but it's a good way to help try and build up trust, and video is a great platform to do that. And again, because all the targeting happened in the first ad with a more expensive budget of £5 to £10 a day, again, £2 to £5 a day in this is fine because you're only targeting people who landed on that particular page. So again, you don't need to spend a huge budget on this as well. Again, if you're getting lots and lots of inquiries from it, increase the budget until so you hopefully get some more, and keep increasing the budget until you think you've peaked to a certain extent. As long as you're getting leads, as long as you're generating revenue, no, there's no harm in increasing the budget. Then you start asking for the sales ad. This could be image, this could be video again. Keep this one to 60 seconds if it is a video. And this is our expert guide, Maggie. Again, similar sort of content to the other ad, but this is going to be more sales specific. So this is going to be more in terms of, this is what you're going to experience, this is how much it costs, that type of thing. I'd love to have you on board, blah, 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 blah. Maybe not mention how much it costs because you want to keep the video, maybe want to use it for future if you ever increase your prices, so try not to mention costs actually, but more sales focused. Purpose of this video is to offer value to the customer and build trust in your brand still. But again, 30 seconds to 60-second video of your guide or a carousel image. This is more of a sales ad. So you maybe mention the price and the actual ad copy itself. Yeah, it would be more of a book now or a send message or fill out this form if you just want inquiries. So it's going to be more of a, rather than learn more, it would be more book now or inquire or something along those sort of lines. This would target people who downloaded the guides, who maybe even past customers as well. You could target using the custom audience. And again, £2 to £5 a day budget. Doesn't need to be hugely expensive. So, brief overview of what I've just mentioned there. Brand awareness ads would then lead into a free value ad, would then lead into a trust ad, and then you ask for the sales ad. So in total, your overall daily budget is between £20 and £25 per day, which is the cost of one really cheap day tour, to be honest. It's not overly expensive. And if it's successful, again, increase the budget from there as well. But this is how what we have seen, what works best on Facebook, taking them along this sort of journey of going through each of the steps, as I mentioned, the awareness, the trust, and the growth phase. And there's this little sketch I've just put together, just to give you more of an idea. So awareness stage, maybe 1 or 2 ads. Maybe one could be, you could do, again, if you want to test, you could do one ad as a video, one ad as an image ad. Promoting your experience, going onto a landing page, all talking about that experience, why you're good at what you do, and what that customer's going to see and experience on if it were to come within your destination. They would get the opportunity to either sign up to an email series, but then anyone who's landed on that page will get the trust ad, again, video, showing your value, why you are the best. You could have 1 or 3 versions of that ad if you have the budget, one going to a booking page, one going to a Facebook form, which at the moment is actually one of the most popular ways of generating leads at the moment. We'll come on to that. And it's purely because people have questions. There's so many things going on with COVID. So either a Facebook form or even a Facebook Messenger if you have the time, people inquiring through that, asking questions, and then you taking the sort of sales process, taking them through your sales process from either the Facebook form or the Facebook Messenger. So a good friend of mine, Peter Syme, I've mentioned a couple of times, who runs whitewater rafting in Scotland. He uses Facebook ads a lot. He uses Facebook Messenger ads a lot. In the last 90 days or so during COVID, he's generated about £100,000 worth of business for his whitewater rafting company purely from Facebook, and a lot of that's been through Facebook Messenger, etc., inquiring through that. I'm not saying that will happen for everyone, but the demand is there. People are looking to do outdoor activities. People are looking for places to stay, just to get away from their own houses and offices and everything else, and have stare at some nice scenery for a while. So you could run one of these ads in the trust ad, or you can run 3 different versions, or whatever it is you're comfortable with and whatever you have the budget for. And then from there, you go through the growth phase, and that would be where you would actively ask for the sale. But what you tend to find is a lot of people will buy during the trust phase because they like what they see you've got good reviews, you're getting it across that message, and then you'll probably find more sales happening during that phase. But any stragglers will happen in the growth sort of phase as well. So let me show you some real life examples of this. So this was ads, and I'm sure these are quite small here, but you don't really need to see the content of these at the moment. It's more the actual what we did for in terms of the journey. So we had 2 ads for Overland Island. So we created 2 landing pages. So these ads led to 2 landing pages. So one was all about Skyleg Michael. As I mentioned, it had a Star Wars connection, but we know not everyone likes Star Wars. They're not human in my opinion, but not joking. But we know there's many out there who don't like Star Wars. So we created 2 articles, one for Star Wars fans and one similar but for non-Star Wars fans. So we had 2 ads, one which had the Star Wars focus and one who didn't have a Star Wars focus. So each one of those ads led people to 2 separate landing pages with those different focuses. From that landing page, they then received an ad for those who landed on those landing pages to say, here's a business owner, he wants to send you some information and travel guides and inspiration about Ireland and what you can experience when you're over there. So this was obviously targeting an American market at the time. This was pre-COVID, so this one is pre-COVID. From there, the customer would receive the email series for those who signed up, which has soft links, plain text emails, all as if they came from Rayner, even though we wrote them, and we've got Rayner, the owner's email signature at the bottom of them. They're all automated, so anyone who signs up just automatically gets one per week for 6 weeks. Then you get the trust ads. This is more of a video highlighting the experience about what you will see and experience when you're in Skellig Michael. And that's more about building the trust, little reviews showing up and testimonials throughout that video as well. And then it was more of a sales ad. We used an image carousel ad for this one, highlighting the sale. You can see that it's more, if you can see that on your screen, it's more book now rather than learn more, that type of thing. So this is more actively asking for the sale rather than sort of learning about something. And that obviously led to his product page to make a purchase or buy that product. But every opportunity, whether it was on the landing page, whether it was in the emails, whether it was in the trust ad, the sales ad, they all had the opportunity for people to land on that product page and purchase. So even though we're taking them down that journey, there was always the opportunity for someone there to purchase or go to that product page to make the purchase. And before I continue a little bit more on that one, quick tip, use square images or videos. So when you're running Facebook ads or even Facebook posts, for that example, even though the Facebook's design has changed slightly. So, but if you're using square images and square videos, it gives you more real estate on Facebook's feeds, whether it's on your desktop or on your mobile. So you actually take up more of the screen, which means you're blocking out any other information or any other potential ads from other people. So when the people are scrolling on their phone, your ads, if you're using square images, will pretty much take up the full length of the screen. So they're being super focused on your ad or on your post. So where you can, post in square. Whether it's social posting just for normal social posts or for ads as well. So it's just a little tip for you. So that's where, if you watched my video one previously, still filming landscape, but then you can crop it down to create square ads as well. So there was another thing that we did for this, which was we ran all this through Facebook. We've all got it through the Facebook funnel. But then we also had some Google display ads showing. So the Google display ads are relatively cheap. It's the cheapest form of Google advertising there is. So anyone who landed on that specific page, if they went off to another website that allowed ads to be shown on that website, they had the potential to see little ads from Overland Island to remind them, hey, you landed on this page, all about Skellig Michael, come back and here's a product, that type of thing. It's just another reminder, another touch point to let people know that you're there. So you can run this in conjunction with Google display ads that are for people who landed particularly on that page. And this was quite effective using it for this company in this way. Because they're predominantly American targets for this company, one campaign again was running. We looked at the different destinations, the different states in America that had a high concentration of Irish immigrants or people or expats, people who had Irish backgrounds. So that was Chicago, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Washington, Toronto. People who were interested in Ireland, Dublin, Tourism Island, expats, and then we had one which was for Star Wars fans as well, and one who didn't like Star Wars. We kept it quite open between 25 and 65. And then from that, you can learn, once you've ran them for about 14 days or so, you can learn which age groups are going to be more popular. So that was the targets we sort of ran for these ads. So how did that perform? So this is real figures. So between the 26th of December, when the ad started running, to the 28th of February, we stopped it just as COVID was hitting. That Overland Island spent €1,607, just over, on the ads over that period. So it was around about a 3-month period. He had 25 sales from that. So his sales are all multi-day, so quite high value, €1,000, €1,500, €2,000 for a full multi-day package. So 25 sales, but that generated revenue of 71,805, just over. It was actually slightly over this. In fact, it was a lot over this because that's what Facebook were seeing when people were coming and booking directly from Facebook. Some people came back later, booked then. Some people booked multiple people, so there was even more value. But from what Facebook saw from the individual, it generated 71,000 from a €1,600 spend. So that was an ROI of nearly 4,500%. So this is how powerful Facebook can be if you're doing it in the right way, if you're targeting the right people, if you're doing it along a funnel, that type of thing. And I'm not saying this will happen for everyone, especially now with COVID, but that is what can be achieved on Facebook. Another example is, and this is happening during COVID, it's happening now, it's still running. This is for another company who, and apologies, all the examples, the couple of examples I have are all tour companies, because that's who we predominantly deal with, but this will be the same for accommodation and anyone else. This was a company, Rose Hill Travel. They are targeting people in London specifically who have high value, who are looking to escape from the city and visit the Cotswolds, and that was the whole focus of this. So we ran a campaign. It started on the 16th of July up until now. As you can see there, they've spent £1,773. But this is more about generating Facebook, people filling out Facebook forms or landing on the website. So there's a couple of different methods we're doing here. They've had nearly 4,000 clicks through to the website onto that specific page. And they've had sign-ups from that. But particularly on Facebook, they've had 280 people actively filling out the form in Facebook to say, and the ads had, this is what we're offering, here's a price, are you interested? Fill out this form and we'll give you a bespoke tailor-made quote. 280 people filled out that Facebook form so far on that. So that was a great amount of leads that he's had from it already. Again, targeting, we've targeted people in Dover and Kent, we've targeted people in London between 28 and 65, people who love Lake District or Cotswolds. People are more interested in luxury goods because they'll tend to spend a bit more money because these are more chauffeur-driven products. Behaviours, frequent travellers, that type of thing. So that's what we targeted for that as well. We've ran two different sort of campaigns for this. One more about the famous North Cotswolds one-day tour. It's all about a one-day tour, taking a bubble of a group of family. It has to be a family now, or people who are living in the same household, around the Cotswolds for a day in a chauffeur-driven vehicle. It's roughly around £495. So that price was actually on the ad, so people still signed up to get a quote for that or other things. And they would that one's more about book now, so it was taking them to that page to then inquire. And the other ad was slightly lower value, about just getting a chauffeur service from London to wherever you want to go, or from the airport for £70. So we had two different types of products we were advertising here. But that generated in total 280 from Facebook, people who landed on the page, excuse me, but obviously I can't show, for GDPR reasons, I can't show all the names and addresses here, or names and emails, but they've generated 385 leads in 2 and a bit months. So that has given him, if you look at the spend, he spent £1,773. He's had 386 leads from that. That's given him the potential value, if you're looking at the low end value of the £70, of 27,000, or if you look at the high end value of the £495 and upwards, of £191,000 of potential business. Again, these are leads, these are people filling out a form or a tailor-made form on the website to actively ask for a quote. So yes, he still needs to take them through that sales process, but in terms of the leads he's getting, which are qualified, because we know they're targeting particular cities, we're targeting particular groups of people who are interested, the prices on the ads, everything else as well. And that's those leads that people are still filling out those forms, actively looking like, I want to escape, I want to come to the Cotswolds, what can you do for me? So it's the potential value of it will sit somewhere in between those two figures. And that's given them anything from a 1,423 to a 10,676% ROI from that. So he'll be in between that, depending on the different types of products he sells, and he will be persuading those leads to either buy now, or it could be that they were looking for something maybe in 2021. So even if people are not buying now, you're still building up a good number of leads of people who were interested in your business for next year. So don't just think about now, obviously with everything that's going on, think about next year as well. And this is where things like this, and again, it's taking them through that funnel of, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is our price, which was clearly displayed in the ads, but people still filled out the forms. And that is what we're finding just now, because of everything that's going on. People, yes, are booking, but what we're finding is more people are inquiring first, probably because they have questions, maybe get fears about deposits, that type of thing. So if you don't already have an inquiry form on a website, leave people to that, whether it's a tailor-made product, or leave people to inquire to get a bespoke experience or quote or whatever it would be. We tend to find more people are inquiring at the moment because of various reasons. Another couple of other examples is Cool Travel Iceland. Again, uncover the true magic of Iceland, the land of fire and ice. This was a video highlighting why that was there. This is to sign up to get a tailor-made quote. And then we've got Walk 91 in Australia. Similar thing, sign up to get another tailor-made quote. Again, we're seeing a theme here. This is what people are looking for at the moment. All about outdoors, all about seeing sights. And if you look actually at the carousel ad for Walk, we've got a little TripAdvisor part on the image to sort of highlight. We've got 5-star reviews, that type of thing. So don't be frightened to put little things like that on your images as well when you're doing your ads or doing your posts. It just helps get across the trust aspect as well. So targeting using Facebook Audience IQ or Facebook Insights, as it's also known as. Now, for those who do not know, excuse me while I take a little drink, my throat's going. So for those who don't know, Facebook Insights is a great tool to allow you to see what potential audiences that you can target within your own area or within other destinations as well. If you want to target people in America, that type of thing. It's a great tool to highlight or to show you who you can target, their interests, their age groups, that type of thing as well. So what I'm actually going to do is show you a quick demo of Audience Insights so you get a better idea of what this is and what it entails. So let me just go to my next screen. Hopefully you can see that okay. So when you go to Audience Insights, the first thing it will ask for is everyone on Facebook or people connected to your page. Now, the people connected to your page can be very powerful, and it's a great way for building up buyer personas, for example. So this will allow you to connect your page to Audience Insights. You do need to have at least 1,000 followers for this to really work and be more effective, and mostly 1,000 followers from the same destination. So if you're targeting people in the UK, you want 1,000 people from UK. If you're targeting people in America, you want 1,000 people in America for this to be really effective. You can then connect your own business page to this. It will tell you exactly what age groups are following you. It will tell you what their interests are. It will tell you if they're married, not married, all these other things as well. So if you can connect your page and you have enough followers, it can give you some valuable insights. And I'll show you that in a second, but what we're going to show you first is everyone on Facebook. So I'm going to click on everyone on Facebook. And this is, you can see there, that's up to 200 million people we can search through. And that's because we've got it set to the United States, automatically sets to the United States. If I take that off, more than 1 billion people. So we've got more than 1 billion people we can look at on Facebook. And you can see there on Facebook, out of everyone, the most popular age groups are 25 to 34-year-olds in terms of those who are being on Facebook. That's not to say the older demographics of your 60s plus are certainly something you should be considering if you are looking for that age groups, because more and more of the older generation are creating Facebook accounts because of lockdowns, because of restrictions. They're wanting to keep in touch with family and friends. So more and more of that generation are learning and starting to use Facebook. So we can see 44% of Facebook are women, 56% are men. But let's start breaking this down a little bit more and sort of seeing what it is we can target. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a town. So let me go to Inverness, Scotland. We can then see that we've got up to 70,000 people we can target in Inverness alone. We'll just keep it 18 to any age groups at the moment. We can see, yep, 25 to 34-year-olds are still the most popular. But as you can see here, the other ones are not to be sniffed at as well. There's quite a large demographic in terms of the other ones as well, all the way from 18 plus. So it's quite a good spread of different age groups. But this is where you can see here, out of all these people, 25% are single, 23% are in a relationship, 7% are engaged, 45% married, 33% went to high school, 64% went to university, 3% have a bachelor's. And you can start to see some of the jobs that these people are in. So construction, cleaning, transportation, repair services. The biggest one is production there that you can see. You can see more of this here as well, but we'll just look at the top 10. And farming, that type of thing. So it gives you an idea of the different types of jobs that they have. What pages do they like? Obviously, this is a bit more broad. We'll break this down a little bit more. The different types of pages that they like within those who are in these areas. And gives you, you can click to these pages to see the most popular pages within this demographic. Locations as well. Obviously, we know it's Inverness. We know the country is going to be Scotland or the UK, so we know that already. And we can look at the activities as well, and that type of thing as well. So what devices do they normally use, that type of thing. But let's break this down a little bit further. So we can start looking at interests. So say we wanted to look at someone who was interested in food and drink. Let's keep that theme. So let's look at foodies. So we can look at people who's a foodie. We can look at people who like whiskey and break that down. We could target 15 to 20,000 people. We can see there the age groups that we can target fairly evenly spread. If I was running ads from here initially, I would be running ads from between 25 and 65 initially to capture all of this, and then refine that down once we get more data. We can see here that 52% are married, 20% are single. Maybe you want to run ads for a whiskey distillery tour for single people to run when we can, obviously, to run a dating service or something like that. I know you can run products around that, whatever it is you want to do, but this is how good this information is. It allows you to maybe look at different aspects. You maybe want to do something for Valentine's Day, whatever that would be. You can see about 20% of these people are single, 20% are in a relationship, and 52% are married. So it allows you to tailor your ads down. And then we can start looking at different jobs that they have again as well. So you can look at, okay, I want to target people who only work in production because that's going to be the highest targeted audience in terms of job titles and things like that as well. But then you can start looking at the pages. And you can start to say, okay, number one is the tea room, jammy piece somewhere in Inverness. What does that say? Well, it means that why don't you, if you can, maybe run some sort of partnership with them, put your products in the jammy piece if you can, if they allow that type of thing to allow you to advertise what it is you do. There's an Indian Chinese, because again, this will be quite food based because we've picked foodies. The butcher shop, wholesale bakery, the whiskey bar, Angel Share Inverness, the malt room, places that you can maybe partner up with, that type of thing as well. And it gives you an idea. You can click in the amount of audience that they have, etc., etc. But again, you can go down and then make this as specific as you want. People who love outdoor activities, for example. So let's get rid of food, get rid of the other one, and let's look at outdoor activities. Outdoor recreation, between 30 and 35,000. So if you're doing things like hill walking, cycling, that type of thing. In fact, let's look at bike, people who like bikes. Or cycling, maybe. Let's use cycling in here. Cycling, road cycling, sports. Let's just put in cycling. We can see 35 to 40,000 people. 53% are women, again, but it's pretty evenly split. And again, you can look at the pages and things like that from that as well. So using a tool like this really allows you to dive in to sort of say, okay, these are this is the area that I want to target. This is what I want to, these are the interests that I want to convey: outdoor activities, biking, rafting, accommodation, whatever that would be, places to stay. So let's have a look at actually see what that shows up as well. So places to stay, does that away from home, who want to be, nope, nothing from that at all. That's a life event. So I'm trying to think, there's accommodation come in here as well. No, that doesn't actually show. So sometimes you'll find it hard to search on specific things. So maybe need to be things that are around about you, things to do in your area or activities, that type of thing, or people who are interested in staycations or anything like that. So it also gives you search by business and industry, entertainment, family relationships, sport and outdoors, hobbies and activities. So again, you can click into any of these. You can basically see, look, there's travel. You can see adventure travel, beaches, cruises, holidays, hotels. So that, yeah, it might be under hotels and accommodation. So let's look at hotels, for example, who have interest in hotels. 30 to 35,000 people. You can see the age groups, married, single, all that type of thing, and the pages that they're interested in. And then from this, once you have created a criteria that you like, you can then go up here and save this down as an audience, and then you can use that audience within your ads. So this is just another way, if anyone's familiar with creating Facebook ads, obviously you can create your audience within the ads, but you can do that ahead of time using a tool like this, or using some of the other tools that Facebook uses, to then just say, okay, this is what I want to target, this is who I want to see. I can target this many people using this specific criteria. And then once you put that into the ads, you can then tailor that down even further. But then you've got advanced as well, so you can target by language, relationship status. Before we worked in predominantly just only in tourism. Back in 15 years ago when I set up my business originally, we worked for any sector at that point, although we grew quickly into tourism because we got a lot of businesses from that sector. But one of the businesses we helped right at the start was for a letting agent. And that letting agent was wanting to do two things. It was wanting to get landlords on their books. So we targeted ads on Facebook to landlords and business owners who owned property. But another one was to obviously people who to rent out those properties to as well. And one of the things we were able to target was people who were in a relationship, who were engaged, obviously, but people who were divorced. So you could target that on there as well, who broke up with someone because they're probably more likely to be looking for a house or a flat or something like that. So this is how specific you can be with these sort of things. So looking at education, the types of works that they do, segmentation, if they're parents or not, their politics, are they moderate, liberal, conservative. Life events, again, you can target people who are in a new relationship, who have got a new job, who celebrate your new job, come out with us, who have an upcoming birthday, for example, that type of thing. So you can target specifics on there as well. Birthdays, celebrations, anniversaries can all be targeted on Facebook. And you can use tools like this to build up those audiences. So it's a great tool for that side of things. But again, if I just reset everything, let's keep that. Let's take away the hobbies and the interests just now. And what I want to quickly show you is when you connect a page to it. So let me just see. So I'm just going to take off United Kingdom for just now. So you can say people connected to, and then you can select a page. I've obviously got some customers in here, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select our own. I just need to do a search for it. Tourism marketing agency. So I can see that by selecting my own page, I can see that we have roughly 12.5 thousand people on our Facebook page. We can see predominantly men, 63% men, a lot in the 18 to 24-year-old market, which I'm actually quite surprised at, to be honest, but a lot in the 25 to 34-year-old. The reason why we've got a lot of 18, I suspect, is because we do a lot of learning and putting out a lot of information. So we'll probably have a lot of students and tourism students looking at the page as well. But that gives us an idea of, okay, this is what we are, the age groups we're attracting, what we are in terms of relationships, engagement levels, that type of thing. We're not getting job titles. Facebook doesn't want to give us that information. So it doesn't always work when you use a page, but sometimes it does. If we select, let's say if we select United Kingdom, United States, we know we've got a lot of customers there. For some reason, it doesn't want to show. There we go. And that's actually not showing for some reason, which is odd. That usually works. I'm just trying to see if I've maybe got something else clicked. That is weird. Okay. That's a weird one. It has worked before. So maybe Facebook are going through some changes just now with their looks and everything else. So sometimes things haven't been working quite as well as they should be. But it allows you to, as you can see, allows you to connect to a page, instantly see the types of age groups that are coming to your Facebook, or who are following you rather on Facebook. So you can then see, okay, and this was a good one actually. We had another company in Ireland who were saying, well, most of our people we take out on our products are 50 plus. But we actually looked at their Facebook followers, and we actually looked at the Google Analytics. They were getting a lot of 24 to 34-year-olds visiting or following them or whatever. So rather than, they had two options. They say, well, does that mean we're marketing to the wrong demographic, or are we attracting them because they like our products? So rather than sort of saying, okay, we felt their marketing was right, they opened up new products to cater more adventure-based products and more strenuous products for what they were offering for the younger market. So they created that. Having information like this allows you to then create new products to tailor for that particular market. So if you are finding, okay, these are the age groups I'm not seeing out on my products or visiting at my, staying in my accommodation, etc., it can maybe give you an indication of people are interested, but maybe your marketing messaging is not speaking to them. So start to create things around that age group as well, and it could open up more doors for you as well. So this is where something like this can be very, very powerful for that as well. So that's audience insights. It's a good little tool to use as a reference. It's a good little tool to use to see if you are who you should be targeting, what type of things you should be targeting, the different age groups, etc., etc. And it's just another way to sort of make sure that the people you are targeting are the right people. So that's audience insights. But to take anything you do with the funnel is to take your customers along a journey to know and trust your brand. It's all about building that steady stream of inquiries and bookings. Now, it's everything that you do there is just to make sure that you're hitting the right people. No, you can't sell to them straight away. You can sell to them if you wish on Facebook, but you may not get as much uptake from that unless you start going through that funnel sort of look as well. In fact, one of the things I wanted to show you was one of the landing pages that we created for our customers. So let me just go into my browser, and if I can see, let me just bring this up. I'm going to go to Rose Hill Travel. Yes, I want to leave the site. So this is, let me just make this full screen. So this is one of the websites that we created using that, one of the themes that I mentioned in the last one. So we have, for some reason, I can't see the URL bar. Give me a second. I need to go back into here. And if I can remember, give me a second. I remember it's on a different browser. So I need to bring up the browser of the one that I do have. So I have it saved down. So I can just show you the, let me see if I can find it here. There we go. Just copy that URL out, put it in here. So this was the landing page we created for this ads campaign in the funnel. So this is all about your dream English staycation, focusing on the staycation market, escape from the city to the Cotswolds, again, targeting people in London specifically. We had some images to show the different things that they can highlight, and they get some really nice photography taken, the different places that they would visit during the chauffeur-driven tours. A bit of information, reserve your trip button is always there. That takes them down to a form on the page. A little bit more about what they'll receive and what they can highlight, and highlight the experience that they'll have. Getting away from all that type of things, playing with what we've got here, pulling in reviews, you're in safe hands, getting a slight message across with everything that's going on, and then reserve your trip here today. So people filled out this form saying, I want to do this. This is what I'd like to do. What can you do for me? And that filled out the form. We had a similar one on Facebook. Facebook doesn't allow you to do as many fields as this. It's quite limiting, but still allowed to generate those leads. Because what you tend to find is that one of the good things about using a Facebook form is people don't like to leave the ads or the platform. Some people don't like to leave Facebook. So by giving them the option to fill out a Facebook form, which Facebook form automatically fills out for them anyway, but automatically posing their name and their email, etc., all they have to do is hit submit. So it makes it super easy for them. But having stuff like this on a landing page for the website is ideal. Although it's not I'm going to show you a different landing page. This is actually more for a tourism tech company who we're helping out at the moment. Give me a second. But again, just to sort of show you, the premise is always the same. And it's always, just wanted to show you a different industry in terms of what we're doing for them. So let me see if I can find the landing page for this one. Just bear with me a second. Sorry, I should have had these already on show. So, but the reason why I want to show you this landing page is just to give you a sense of, okay, that was a tour company. This is, I'm going to show you a tech company, but it's still within tourism, but give you an idea of what we're doing for their landing page with the form at the bottom as well, etc. So you can sort of see the similarities of what we're trying to do. And it doesn't matter whether you are in accommodation, doesn't matter whether you're in tours and activities, doesn't matter if you run an attraction, they're always going to be a similar pattern in terms of the funnel. So that these guys run software that allows anyone who rents out equipment, or like kayaking, that type of thing, or bikes, etc., to manage all that with the customers. And it's all through apps and everything else as well. So again, take you to a landing page. This is how it makes running your business easier. Bit of information. It's aimed at tour operators. Some of the big reasons why people love Rentrax, giving some information, and then they click the button, takes them down to the form at the bottom to fill out to get a personalised demo. So in a similar sense, this could be about an accommodation, to get a bespoke quote. This could be about whatever it is you do in your product, but it's always leading them to that landing page so you can then track more effectively and do more ads specifically to people who landed on a particular landing page. So that's what we would advise on that, is just to create that landing page and make sure that you're driving people there as well. And if you're not too afraid with allowing you to create landing pages in your own website, or you may have to, maybe one of these things you have to ask your web developers to do, which you maybe don't want to go to the extent of and cost with, there are free tools out there, or semi-free tools that you can use to create landing pages. MailChimp, for example, allows you to create little mini landing pages, which you can direct people to instead if you really wanted to. And then you can still add your Facebook pixel, you can still add your Google Analytics to that landing page as well, on MailChimp or whatever, and most other email software you're using as well, so you can track that side of it as well. So even if you can't use a website, there is other options out there for you to do so. So it's all about, as I said, getting people onto that landing page, getting people to know and trust your brand, taking them down that journey. It will weed out time wasters, people who are just wanting to know how much something costs. We'll weed them out and get to the people who are really, really interested in your products, who are really interested in wanting to inquire or buy from you. The only caveat with COVID, and obviously at the moment, and with people's, with everything that's going on, is what you'll tend to find is more people will inquire, as I say, and maybe for 2021. So it might be that you won't get bookings quite straight away just now, but you may get bookings for 2021, and that could be one of the angles you do in the Facebook funnel. It's more about driving bookings for 2021, or reserve your spot, tailor-made products, that type of thing. That's what's working just now. Outdoor activities, accommodation providers, huge at the moment, in terms of people just wanting to get away and escape and go somewhere. And if you are an accommodation provider, running a Facebook campaign like this, yes, highlighting the accommodation, how the place looks, what it is that you've got there in terms of amenities, but spend a lot of that video or a lot of that landing page talking about those things that are around about you as well, the activities they can do, the sites that they can see. Ultimately, that is what's going to interest people more. They'll look at the accommodation, they'll look, that's great, it has a hot tub, or it has this, I can take my pet along, whatever it is you allow there, that will be an important aspect of it. But people will always look to sort of see, what can I do within that area? I don't want to just get there. Some people just want to get to a place to stay, sit in the hot tub for the full week and do that. That's fine. I wish I could do that myself at the moment. But we will get people, and a lot of people, who will be looking, well, what can I do when I'm there? Can I rent out a bike to cycle around the hills that are near me? Or can I do this, or can I do that? That's an important aspect to highlight within any content you're doing as well. So just make sure you're doing that, and make sure you're getting that across. Now, as I mentioned before, to how to set up Facebook ads, to how to set up all that side of things, I was going to give you a guide, but I'm actually going to give you something better than that. So a little while back, about a year or so ago, I wrote a book called Lookers into Bookers. That is more aimed at the tours and activities market, but a lot of information can help accommodation providers, attractions and everything else as well. So it's a 400-page book. It's not a light book. It's full of information, jam-packed full of advice, how to set up a lot of the different elements I've spoken about, and giving you ideas about how to create ideas for campaigns, that type of thing. And I'm giving you it as a free digital download. So if you visit that link, you'll be able to get a download for free and be able to download that book. And hopefully something in the book will give you some advice on whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's video marketing, whether it's creating content, the whole multitude of different things in there as well. So if you go to that link, you'll be able to get a free copy of the book. And that's open to anyone who even views this later. That link will always be there. So anyone who wants a copy of it can instantly download it and get a copy of it. So that's my little gift to you guys as well, to help you with future marketing, as this is the last workshop I'm going to do for you guys in this sort of set of 4. I wanted to leave you with something that you can continue that learning and hopefully give you some inspiration of what you can do going forward. So I hope that was give you a good indication of what can be achieved within Facebook and my approach to Facebook, and what I see works really well. Like I say, there's no harm in running quick ads to sell a product, but what you tend to find is that something like that may work during a Christmas period, or you will get some people who will just buy off the cuff. I've maybe I've done it myself, had a couple of drinks at night. You're sitting with family, you're a little bit bored, you're, excuse my French, a little bit pissed off with everything that's going on at the moment, and you'll just go buy, and you will get people who will do that. But if you want more long-lasting relationships, if you want more leads, and if you want to really hit home, more of a sort of funnel method I've shown you is the way that I would tend to approach it. So I hope that made sense. I hope that you got a lot of good value from that. And if anyone's got any questions, I'll happily answer them now.
Question. My question, Chris, is how do you get to be so clever? Because that was, quite a lot of information, all of it really, really useful. And as you were chatting, I was typing away going, oh, right, okay, well, better do that. And so I hope that I've learned a bunch already. I mean, it's really, it's so flexible, isn't it?
It is, no, and it allows you, the good thing about the funnel, it allows you have your initial set of ads which goes to a particular landing page. That ad can always change. It can go to a different landing page. The rest of the funnel can pretty much stay as it is, unless you want to change a product or at the very end or whatever. But if you wanted to keep everything else the same, the main ad is I want to drive people to the landing page. You want to get more of your targeted audience onto that landing page to then take them down that funnel of the trust and everything else as well. So it's quite a flexible one to do. And what I would also say was, and maybe should have mentioned it during that, is when you're running the funnel, don't try to bombard people with lots of different products and lots of different things. Try to make it focused to one product or one destination or one area that you want to be in, and make it super focused, and run multiple funnels for different types of products, and that's when you'll tend to be more successful. So
it's absolutely epic. So no questions from the audience there. This is surprising. Usually they're chock full of them. Perhaps
I'm going to put that link to my book on the chat as well. So I'll do that just now.
So watch us all click that link as we disappear off to download a copy of your book.
There we go. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions on Facebook in general, or the ads, or anything they didn't quite understand in terms of the funnel, please do post them up, and I'll help answer them just now.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, I have to say. And just looking at we say this to people all the time, that Facebook is a place to start, and it's manageable, and you can granular down, and you can literally target the people you want to come and stay. So, to actually see it at that level and demonstrate it on the screen is really super good. Super good.
Like I say, it's one of the best platforms out there for targeting. Google Ads obviously is a good one as well. And at the moment, if you are looking or thinking about running Google Ads, it's actually really relatively cheap at the moment, because not a lot of the big OTAs are running ads and things like that. So the cost per click is actually cheaper at the moment. Probably the lowest it's been for a long time. But it's a double-edged sword. Are people searching for certain things, that type of thing? So which they are, they are doing. So a combination of both, if you can afford it, is always good.
Yeah, I'm going to ask if anybody on the group is currently running Facebook ads for anything or similar, Google Ads, etc.
Yeah, if you're running Facebook ads just now, are you hitting a wall? Are you not getting the leads that you're thinking you should be getting? Or any questions around that just now? Happy to answer. Still got a bit to it. But actually, I ran through that a lot quicker than what I thought I was going to. So.
Well, I thought that, because I was like, oh my goodness, that's not 2 hours, is it? Wow. Yeah, no. I think it was just really compelling stuff, that the time just flies by, and I was scribbling away in the background. So it's a Wednesday, so we have another quick survey. So after this, we're going to send a quick survey out, and it's about online booking. Although on the call today, I think we can probably do just a quick snap survey. So, of the 6 people on the call, can I ask who does currently offer online booking? Simple as that. And you can type your answer. Hey, yes.
That's good.
Here's Juliet. That's brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. Yay.
Good.
Happy days.
Yep.
That's good.
That's good to know.
I thought so. We've got some plans afoot. That's all. We just want to make sure we do the right thing.
Yeah, and in fact, while we're waiting for any questions coming in, what I was going to quickly show you guys is something that we spoke about it earlier on, just to sort of give you an idea of what's happening in the industry just now, in terms of what's coming up. A lot of people don't know this. This was launched, I think, yesterday. But let me just see if I can find the link again. In fact, I know where the link is. Give me a second while we're waiting. The link is here, which could affect a lot of businesses in and around. I think this is only open to America yet at the moment, but it will come worldwide. So let me just quickly share my screen while we're waiting for any questions. I'll select this one. So this is Amazon. Amazon have now launched Amazon Explore.
Oh, it's not the waving their hand across the thing to buy your stuff. I heard about that on the radio today.
Yeah, well, there is an element of this, and this is the reason. So Amazon, they have been making waves in this for a while and came out of it, and now they're coming back in. So Amazon are now actively looking at going into the travel space. But what a lot of people don't realize is this is all about virtual experiences. They're quite expensive virtual experiences, a lot of them, which is quite surprising. But what a lot of people don't realize is they're going to start tying this in with their e-commerce side of things. So, for example, you can see there the picture is Prague virtual tour. Person's holding a camera for it. It could be a GoPro, for example. Did you like this product in this virtual tour? Come here to buy this GoPro, or come here to buy this silk scarf that you've seen just being made in a virtual tour, or go and buy these walking books of the person who's taking you out across a desert or whatever it would be. They're tying this in with their e-commerce, so they'll sell more products, and it's a very clever way of doing it. But this is just to highlight Amazon are now coming into the travel space, so it's another thing to think about. And Facebook will do as well. Facebook are going to become big in this space, I imagine, in the next couple of years. They've already been doing things, but it's going to become even bigger. So it's just one of those things I just want to highlight. Is just look what's happening out there. If things like Amazon are coming into the travel space, then you know that there's opportunities there. You know that there's still value in this space, even with COVID going on. If anything, there's probably more opportunities. So it's just something I wanted to quickly highlight before we have any more questions on Facebook of what's happening in the industry.
So from Claire there. So Claire is a new Facebook user, a business page, but do you have any advice, like an idiot's guide, how to set Facebook and ads?
Yeah, so the book actually gives you an indication of how to set up a Facebook Business Manager, Facebook business page, gives you an idea of the type of ads you should be setting up as well. So that gives you some information on that, the different types of ideas you can put around that, similar to what I've given in this presentation, as well as some other information as well. And
we're happy to offer, we're happy to assist as well. You just lift the phone and we'll chat you through, or we can pop out and do a Zoom. Or and that thing about we've run when we were Murray Speyside Tourism for the past few years, we ran a thing called Digital Tourism Scotland. 3 years in a row, really great levels of courses, super stuff, good people doing them. But we got a real sense that there's still, that some of the stuff was above a level, and actually every single day is a school day for, even for us, that there's some really simple stuff that we just need to cover with folk, around email marketing, the chat that you had last week around, value email marketing, because it's a useful thing to build relationships. And I think sometimes we just make an assumption that, everybody can do that. So just lift the phone, Claire, or drop us a note. And if we don't know the answer, we probably know someone who does. Probably Chris.
Yep, happy to answer any questions, even after the fact. So feel free to email me if you do.
Well, silence is affirmation, I guess. So why don't we let you get off and have a quick lunch or an early lunch?
I appreciate it, guys. I blasted through that quicker than what I thought. When I was running through it the other day, it was about an hour and a half. Because I like to keep that extra half hour for questions and things like that. But I think I talked a lot quicker than what I thought. I'm on my third coffee, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Well, look, thank you. The past 4 weeks has been a blast. A really interesting blast, and I hope the start of a journey that we'll take with you over the next few months and years. So thank you from us, thank you from me, thank you from Shona, thank you from everyone. And I expect also when we send out the recording to the wider group, you'll get thank yous from lots and lots of other people. So
appreciate that. No, I've really enjoyed it. And like I say, I'll put anyone who got any questions if any of the topics were raised, just get in touch with me. Happy to answer them. Anything that you are not too sure about and stuff like that. So yeah.
Very many thanks. Thank you to everyone. Do enjoy the rest of your days, guys. And as I say, Claire, and everyone else, just lift the phone, drop us a note. We are never very far away. You know, they used to say tourism never sleeps.